They said Rome could not be defeated, not by armies, not by kings, not by anyone who had ever lived. But history has a habit of remembering the moment someone proves that belief wrong. Before that moment arrived, Rome was unstoppable. Its legions had crushed every enemy they faced. Kingdoms collapsed in their path. Resistance didn't last long enough to become legend. And yet, somewhere across the Mediterranean, a young commander was studying Rome. Not as an enemy too strong to fight, but as a system that could be broken. His name was Hannibal Barca, and Rome did not understand him yet. It would. Hannibal's hatred of Rome did not begin in battle. It began in childhood. Carthage had been humiliated, stripped of power, forced into submission. His father made him swear an oath that he would never be a friend of Rome. But Hannibal did not simply inherit anger. He turned it into a strategy. Rome expected the next war to follow rules they understood. Ships, coastal invasions, open field battles where their legions dominated. So Hannibal did something Rome considered impossible. He came from the north. To reach Italy, he would march an army from Iberia across Gaul and then into the Alps. Mountains so brutal that even survival was uncertain, let alone war. And he brought war elephants with him. At first, Rome didn't panic. They didn't even fully believe it was happening, because no army could survive the Alps. But Hannibal did not ask permission from history. He forced his way through it. Snow buried entire columns of soldiers. Ice shattered formations. Men disappeared into white silence, where even screams were swallowed by wind. Horses fell into ravines. Supplies vanished. The Alps did not fight Hannibal like an enemy. They tried to erase him completely. When he finally emerged into Italy, his army was smaller, exhausted, and half-starved. But it was alive, and Rome was not ready. The Senate had assumed geography was their shield. The Alps were supposed to be nature's wall, unbreakable, absolute. Instead, they watched that wall fail. And what came through it was war. Hannibal did not waste time on sieges or slow conquest. He did something Rome had never faced before. He attacked their confidence. At Trebia, Rome was drawn into a trap. At Lake Trasimene, an entire army vanished into an ambush hidden by terrain and timing. Rome began to realize something terrifying. They were not losing because their soldiers were weak. They were losing because their enemy was thinking differently. Then came Cannae. Rome gathered one of the largest armies it had ever assembled. Tens of thousands of soldiers. A force built to end the war in a single blow. They believed numbers would decide everything. Hannibal believed the opposite. He let Rome push forward. He let them feel in control. And then he closed the trap. By the end of the day, Rome suffered one of the worst defeats in military history. The battlefield was no longer a battle. It was collapse. Entire legions erased in a single coordinated encirclement. For the first time in generations, Rome did not feel dominant. It felt vulnerable. But Rome did something Hannibal did not expect. It refused to fall. No surrender, no negotiation, no peace. Instead, Rome changed the rules of war itself, avoiding direct battles, rebuilding slowly, cutting Hannibal off piece by piece. Hannibal remained in Italy, undefeated in battle but trapped in strategy. Years passed, and slowly the war turned. Eventually, Carthage could no longer sustain him. Rome had adapted, learned, endured. Hannibal was forced to retreat. But history did not measure him by victory. It measured him by impact. Because Hannibal Barca did something rare in history. He did not just fight an empire. He made Rome fear that it could lose. And after him, Rome would never be the same again.